Hey, what's up guys? Imran here, Monster Gadgets. I hope you're all having a wonderful day wherever you might be. Thank you so much for joining me. And today's video was supposed to start off at home and I completely forgot because there was so much going on between just my schedule and dropping the kids off and things like that I actually forgot to start my video at home. So I'm gonna start it here at the Tesla Supercharger in Aurora, in Illinois. And so today's video is going to be about my trip that I'm taking to Michigan. But more importantly, I'm going to share with you guys some tips that you should know as a new Tesla owner or maybe even a seasoned Tesla owner to get the most out of your charging experience while taking road trips. So let's go ahead and dive into it. All right guys, welcome back. So as you can see, I am here at the Aurora Supercharger. Monster's being filled up right now. And so the first tip that I want to share with you is think of this station as being home. So before you actually leave for your trip, there's a couple things you should do. Number one, you should precondition your car. What that means is while it's charging from the wall connector, you want to go ahead and turn the climate control on, get it to wherever setting you like, whether you like it at 70 degrees, 75 degrees, whatever temperature you decide to set it at. Go ahead and set it up at that temperature and turn the unit on. That way it's still getting power from your wall outlet while the cabin is getting to a temperature that you have set it to. That way it'll start drawing the power from the battery and it'll still keep charging. And then by the time you are ready to go, your car will be ready to go along with you at a full charge. So that is tip number one. You can probably save maybe 2 to 3% of your battery doing just that. All right, tip number two is going to be setting your appropriate battery charging levels. So if you are charging daily for daily commute, you probably want to have your battery around 75 to 80% limit for charging. But if you're taking a trip somewhere, you want to go ahead and bump that up to 90-95%. Whatever you do not charge to 100%. The reason for that is because if you charge it to 100%, then you actually don't have any room left for regen braking or regen charging, I should say. So you want to make sure you go ahead and charge it to 90 or 95% max and set it to the trip indicator. That way you've got the most battery available to use, plus room left over for some regen. So let's go ahead and dive in real quick. Well, let's go ahead and step into the car real quick, see where I'm at right now. I just came here to charge up because again, I forgot to do it at home for my trip. But I had a dinner while I was waiting. And right now, as you can see, it's got 12 minutes left and I have it set to 90% basically. You guys can see where it says daily and trip. So I got it set to trip so that way I can get the most out of my battery. And I've got 12 minutes left until it reaches that level. So that is tip number two. Tip number three is going to be actually about the supercharger stations themselves. Some of these units you guys will see where it says 3C, 3D, 3B. Generally if they're in pairs, so what you want to try to do is they might share the same connection, which means if I'm parked here and someone comes and parks here, they're going to be drawing power from this one. Most likely these are probably linked to the same unit, which means you're not going to get the most charging speeds out of these chargers. So what you want to do is anytime that you come to a supercharger, if there's room available, leave room in between each car. That way, so for example, if I'm parked here, someone should leave the spot open, park here. And as you guys can see there, we've got a couple of cars that have less space in between them. That way they can go ahead and get the most out of their supercharging experience or station. So again, if they're nearby like this, leave a space. That way if they are drawing from the same unit, they're not going to be split as far as speed goes. But if they are spaced out, chances are they're most likely not going to be linked together. So each individual unit draws power on its own, giving you the most speed for your charging. So this is the first I've seen where we've got two Teslas right in front of each other with license plates that are like wrapped, they're covered. One's a Model Y, one's a Model 3. So there's one more in front. That one's got a license plate, but these two you guys can see, like they have some type of a wrap on it. I don't know what it is. Alright guys, so right now I am at a supercharger here in St. Joseph, Michigan. As you guys can see there, I am done just about charging, but here is another tip. So if you are in the charging screen and you want to see how many kilowatt per hour were put back on the battery, or you want to see how many miles were put on the battery, you can actually just go ahead and hit the percentage next to your battery sign to get miles or percentage, and that also changes the amount of miles that were put back onto the battery as it was charging. So right now it was supercharging for 20 minutes. I have got 5 minutes remaining. Within that time, it's put back 115 miles of range back onto my battery. So again, same thing here. You click there to change between percentage and miles, and that also changes it on your screen here under charging. All right, we shall continue to Marshall, Michigan. And if I leave within 5 minutes, it looks like I'll have about 16% remaining. So that is tip number, I think 4, 5, I don't know, 4. Yes, let's continue on. All right, it is about 1 a.m. I am in Marshall, Michigan, at a gas station. No, I'm joking. It's at the supercharger station, of course. So here is tip number, I don't know what tip this is. I'm just gonna throw it on the screen somewhere. But this tip is to plan your stops. I mean, like rest breaks, restaurant breaks, those type of things around supercharging. That way you're not traveling extra distances. That way, when your car is actually being charged, you're not just sitting there wasting time. You're actually using that time to go to the restroom, grab a bite to eat, or whatever else you want to do, maybe stretch your legs or whatever. But plan your stops according to supercharger stops. That way you can make sure you've got the best battery usage on your trip. You're not making extra stops. You're not draining the battery more than you need to. So right now Monster is plugged in. I got here with, I think it was 12% battery left. So keep in mind, I guess we'll kind of go on to the next tip here, is the lower the battery percentage when you get to the supercharger, the faster it's going to charge until it allows you to go to your next stop. So for example, if I stopped at 12%, it's going to take a lot quicker to get to like 40-50% than it would for me to go from 40-50% to, for example, 60 or 80%, because what happens is the battery is empty, so it actually charges a lot faster. So the lower you can get that number to safely get to a supercharger, I probably wouldn't go below 5%, but I think 5% or so to get to a supercharger will give you the fastest charge with the least amount of time at a stop. So hopefully that makes sense. Lower the battery, the faster it charges. As the battery goes up, the slower it charges. So yeah, that is tip number whatever on the screen. I will put that up. But I'm gonna be here for about 15 minutes, and then I will be off to Livonia, where I will actually plug in and camp out. So I will check in with you guys when I get there. All right guys, it is about 2:40 in the morning. So I have reached Livonia, and I'm gonna go ahead and let Monster charge up and camp out in the car, just because there's nobody here. Here's another tip, and you probably get this alert on your Tesla mobile app, but if it's 80% full, then you start getting charged for idle time, which I'm meaning like if there's 80% full superchargers, 80% are taken up, and you are fully charged and idling, you will get charged a fee from Tesla. But if no one's here or it's below 80%, I'll have to research, and if you guys know, just leave in the comment section below, but I believe it's 80%. You can be plugged in, 100% charged, and not be charged an idle fee unless you hit that mark. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Monster charge up. I'm gonna try to get a few hours of sleep, get up in the morning and get going. And so I will see you guys in the morning. Good morning. This is the view that you wake up to if you're camping in your Tesla and you're looking straight up. Well, you know, something similar to this. But yeah, I am up. I did pull away from the supercharger at night just because I didn't know how crowded it's going to be due to the holiday weekend, and to be safe, to making sure I don't get charged idle fee at the super station. So I pulled away from there, And yeah, just pulled one spot forward and had a good night's sleep. I am in still camp mode, as you can see there. One thing that I do want to check real quick is how much battery did it actually take from being at 90%, which is fully charged at night, and to staying on camp mode for the last, because it was about 3 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock now, the last 5 hours or so. So let's take a look and see. All right, I just checked it in my app, and it was actually 6% battery that it used. So since basically 3 o'clock at night till 8 a.m. this morning, I took it off charge and just been running camp mode on it, and it's taken up 6% of my battery. That's not bad. I assume if I would have gone longer, like a full night's sleep, it probably would have been like 10%. So even if you charge like 90% or 80%, you lose 10% for camping mode. Now, keep in mind that might vary based on outside temperature and conditions. Right now, for the most part at night, it's been in the mid-20s, so it is still pretty cold, which means the HVAC system has been running pretty much all night and only used 6%. That's pretty good, guys. I think I'm pretty satisfied with that. I never knew how much it would take, so you're looking at basically 6 to 10% for an overnight camp mode based on outside conditions. So here I am. Actually, you can see I've got plenty of room in here to camp. It's been pretty comfortable, haven't had any issues. It's been pretty quiet. So I had a good night's sleep. Now I gotta get up, get ready, go do some sightseeing, and then go visit my parents. So here we go. When there is no garbage can, Mr. Elon Musk, if you're watching, we do need garbage cans. I know some superchargers have them, others don't, but someone was smart enough to grab a cart and put their trash in there instead of putting it out on the floor. Or I guess you could have walked to the mire right there. But yeah, people are creative. They got a shopping cart and decided to make that a trash can. I wonder if who's gonna clean that up. I don't know. But it is about 8:15 right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and get up and go wash up at a Lifetime Fitness, which is a gym that I am a member for. So I'm gonna go work out, wash up, have breakfast, and continue my journey. Here I am. I made it to Lifetime Fitness. Time to go get a workout, time to get some breakfast, and time to start the day. Monster is gonna go ahead and chill out here, of course, towards the end of the parking lot where no one can ding her. So let's get started. Alright guys, I am all set with the gym. As you can see, I washed up, freshened up a little bit. I'm ready to go for the day. And I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video by giving you the final tip, which is use autopilot as much as you possibly can on your trip. There's a couple reasons for that. Number one, you've got state-of-the-art technology basically looking out for you while you're driving. So you've got cameras all around the car, which you can probably make judgments better than a typical driver can, because always constantly paying attention, always looking out for the environment, always looking out for what's in front of you, behind you, things like that. So from a safety standpoint, it makes sense to use autopilot as much as you possibly can. That way you are in the safest position possible while driving. The second is regarding the battery. I at least tend to sometimes drive aggressively, meaning, if I want to overtake someone, I might floor it a little bit to get past them, where if you're on autopilot, it's going to do its thing at its normal pace. At whatever speed it's going, it's going to obviously accelerate a little bit faster than that, but it's not going to floor it to get past another car. So you can technically save battery that way, because you're not going to be using as much power. It'll be consistent power being used while autopilot's engaged, while it's driving. Obviously the speed's going to fluctuate, but it's not going to be taking up as much speed or as much power if a human was driving it and actually controlling the pedal maybe a little too firm or a little too lax, whatever you're going to call it. So that fluctuation probably would not exist. So that is the final tip for this trip. I might show you guys more scenes here and there, depends on what's happening throughout the day, but for the most part, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye. autopilot right now, so don't think that I'm not paying attention. I still have my hand on the wheel before I did, you know, that thing. But yeah, still safest way to drive. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.